What's up, knuckleheads? Nat McDonough here with Kid & Company, and today we're going to talk about how I turned this 1/6 scale Team Losi Audi R8 into this beautiful Ferrari 1972 312P. So you might want to stick around. Let's start with what came in the box with this thing. This is the original, officially licensed Audi R8 GT3 touring car body, made of Lexan, which is obviously flexible. Great scale looking body. You have all the licensed decals. Been sitting in my garage since 2015 when this thing came out, so it's a little dusty. So why would I give up on something that looks this good? The answer is pretty easy. I like doing my own thing. I look at this chassis and it screams for something original. So I chose this, the 1972 Ferrari 312P. And I guess the idea originally came from one of my slot cars. This is a 1/32 scale digital slot car. And it handled and moved and looked so great that I was like, you know what? That'd be a cool radio control car to have. Having said that, I built this. So I'm just going to go into a little detail about how I built this. First off, many of you may be surprised to see the basis behind this, or the foundation, is rigid foam insulation. You can get at Lowe's, Home Depot, or any other kind of hardware store that sells it. It's lightweight, it's durable, it takes adhesives well, it can be sanded, shaped. You can also see here, that's Gorilla Glue. Now, anyone that's worked with Gorilla Glue knows that it has a tendency to foam up, but that's not so important if no one's going to see it. I love it because it's lightweight and it's very, very strong. Moving on, you see this white here. That's styrene. So I took styrene sheet and laminated the foam to provide a good solid foundation for the final coat I applied, which is actually fiberglass mesh. So fiberglass mesh sits on the styrene, and I locked the mesh in with polycarbonate. Some people might use a resin. Resins, they have a strong scent, and the downside to a resin, if you're going to use foam, is resin is oil based and it'll eat right through it, which is why I use the poly, which is water-based. Some little other details to point out for the roll cage. This is actually like 12 gauge wire cabling. And inside you can actually see right here the copper in it. So you really got to get creative with certain aspects of a build like this. Another thing I'd like to point out is this rear spoiler. I wanted something durable, but I needed it to really look like a spoiler. So this is actually a rotor blade from a 700 size scale helicopter, Thunder Tiger to be precise. These pieces on the side are just thick styrene. And the last thing I want to point out, unlike Lexan, which is flexible, with something like this, you don't want any flex because it'll crack. It's like a real body. So here and here, I don't know if you can see it or not, these are carbon fiber rods that I added for rigidity. As far as getting this body to mount to the existing chassis, I simply removed the mounting body clips from the Audi body. And then I put a bolt up here to lock the front end. So, as you can see, I don't have headlight lenses yet. I've ordered some Lexan, 1/8" Lexan panels that I'll fashion and insert into those openings. As far as the decals go, they can be had on eBay. You can see I've got scaled Ferrari decals and the old school Formula 1 or GT roundels with the number. I went with number 9 because that's like my favorite number for whatever odd reason. So I'm going to go ahead and put this body on this chassis and we're going to take it for a spin because, believe it or not, these tires have never even touched the asphalt. So we're going to be taking this little journey together for the first time. Wish me luck. Well, tomorrow's a big day. Finally putting this bad boy on some asphalt. But before I do, because I don't know what's going to happen, and if this thing were to end up in like 1,000 pieces, I would regret if I hadn't showed you some of the other details. So for access, this piece I designed it to pull off, and then here you can see the electronics, ESC, this huge motor. I mean, it's just huge. And this is a custom battery harness that I created, if you will, that I'm going to go into a little bit later. And here's some cabling to the sound system, which I'm also going to go in detail with. It simply slides right in there. I push it down, it locks in place. Hopefully, none of this stuff's going to fly off of here when it's rolling down the street tomorrow. So out of the box, this thing comes wired to take 2 batteries in series, which basically all that means is if you take a 7.4 LiPo and another one, this thing is designed in such a way that it combines those voltages. So you put those 2 batteries in this thing, you're running at 14.8 volts. You have the option out of the box to throw in a couple of 3-cell LiPos. That's a lot of power, and I have no interest in going 100 miles an hour. I'm more interested in scale speed. So what I wanted to do, and it's a modification you have to do if you want to run this thing in parallel, which is taking 2 batteries of the same voltage, okay, throwing them in this car, and you're still only running at that voltage, but you get all the runtime because you're combining the milliamps per hour from each battery. And from what I understand, you can also get a few more amps out of it that way also. But I want to quickly show you how these things mount in this car because I think it's really cool. Luckily for me, because this body is pretty much permanently on, I'm not just pulling body clips off. The batteries come in the bottom. You simply turn these and the battery trays open up. You take your batteries and you feed them in here just like that, and there they go. Okay? So the other thing I want to point out, up here where we had the panel that's removable, because it came stock to run in series, I kind of had to design my own little harness, if you will, to turn that into running in parallel. So I just rewired and recabled that. You can see here it's just typical butt connectors I used. Just clipping wires and making sure that you wire it properly back to the ESC. So I'm going to be running 14.8 volts with a huge amount of runtime, hopefully, and that should. I'm looking for scale speed, like I said. I'm not looking to run this thing 75, 100 miles an hour, because there's videos on YouTube that show just that. People putting, you know, I think I've seen maybe one video where they put two 14.8 lipos in this thing in series, and it's insane. I'm not looking for insane. I'm looking for a cool scale, look, and performance both. Sound system. Never used one before, but in a case like this, I stumbled across one on the internet, and it's the ESS1 sound system, and here's a little box that came in from Team Associated. Now, if you're into radio controlled cars or vehicles of any kind, you've probably heard of Team Associated. Very reputable brand. So you can get this little sound system, looks like a speaker, because that's essentially what it is. And you can go online and choose a certain engine sound for whatever vehicle you want to put it in. And naturally, I chose that V12 Ferrari sound. I programmed that into this sound system. I've cranked the sound system up to maximum. Basically it's wired to the motor, and as you increase the throttle on the transmitter, it revs up. So it follows what you're doing on the transmitter, which is really cool. It goes through the gears. The interesting thing here is I'm curious to find out whether or not the natural engine speed, or I should say motor speed, from this vehicle drowns out the little speaker I've got here. I don't know if it will or not. That's going to be an interesting thing to look at tomorrow when we run this thing. But pretty cool that there is even such a thing that you can put in a car like this. It's game day, baby. It's game day. Time to put some rubber on the road. All right, it's time to do it. Always turn the transmitter off first. It's on. Batteries are already loaded up. Uh-oh, sounds like something's happening. Well, let's hope this thing doesn't explode. Hear that V12, baby? That's pretty cool. Great first run. This thing looks amazing, it sounds amazing, it is amazing. I can't be happier. We definitely need to find some other asphalt to run this baby on. But to turn this thing off, you just reach in here, mash the button. I don't hear the fan whirling anymore on the ESC. This thing's got a fan that cools the ESC. And then just turn the transmitter off.